Sad woman, take it down.
Nice song.
Work yourself out.
You just need some more
I love
grays
it.
and
You
he'll be
and
Santa.
I got what it
If he just
takes
had my beard.
to make it.
I mean, the mixture of the two.
We won't break.
Did we not
it.
tweet that we're going live? Oh,
Oh, never make it.
I need to remember how to count.
Casey, there were so many F words live last week.
Are we on live again?
yeah.
Are you just asking that?
Nobody's tweeting it, but we're gonna go live. So I don't know how anybody's supposed to know we're going live, but we're just
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Ask DBC Live, post-Kansas edition. We are here to answer your questions live on our YouTube channel. This first question comes to us from Dustin. I listened to TJ on Saturday and Sunday with two totally different experiences. What's more rewarding or challenging, coaching a rookie or a veteran, or who is more experienced? So basically, does Dale suck or is he better?
Well, I mean, comparing like Brad is much more aware of what's going on at times. He's obviously a skilled veteran that's been around. So Connor is learning all these things. He's learning air. He's learning all these moves to make because he doesn't know. So working with Connor, trying to paint a picture of what can happen, and you go over things pre-race, like during the week. You talk about scenarios you're about to be in and what to do when they happen. So him actually, talking about it and then letting it play out on the racetrack is probably, it's definitely challenging, but it's rewarding to see, to say something on the radio where, hey, just like we talked about this week, then see it that transform on the track as well is always rewarding. But I don't know, anytime you can run good in a cup race, these cup races are, I wish we could put a level of how hard they are to win and how difficult these races really are, because it is hard. And to come out of somewhere with a top five definitely makes your week a lot better, and no matter what series you run.
yeah. I feel like it's more rewarding. I don't know if you guys agree. Obviously, like I've been friends with Bubba for, I've been spotting for him for 15 years. Obviously, it's very rewarding when we run good. But he doesn't need me as much as he did 15 years ago by any means. So when you get out there, like you talked about Dawson Sutton the other night, you feel when you get a kid like that a good finish, or help him get a good finish, it feels a little more rewarding. You're trying to help him a little bit more than I would any other driver, like Bubba, namely. So it's more rewarding, I think, when you can feel like you help a young kid.
Fair. Next question is from Jim. Which tracks have the best and worst facilities for spotters?
So it's ironic. The best track for spotters
It's the worst
is
location.
probably the worst location for spotters. This Phoenix, I think, is by far the best spotter stand in the series.
Given all these bug bites on you two idiots, I would say Kansas is the worst spotter stand.
Kansas is a good spotter stand.
It is.
It's good. It's got everything
But
you
you might
need.
want some bug spray.
You might want some bug spray.
Yeah, none of that was working. Somebody had it.
Yeah. I don't know where. The one I dislike the most is Pocono, and it really has nothing to do with the spotter stand. It's just the angles of you're close to the racetrack, and it's a damn mile down to turn one, so it's really hard to see.
Darlington, you're on top of each other.
Yeah, Darlington, you're on top of
But
each
you
other,
got a good
looking
view,
over
though.
cameras. Yeah, but you're still looking over those cameras.
Yeah, but turn 4 is a little sketch. Like, Darlington's tight.
Coda.
Oh,
Coda's
oh,
tough.
man.
Opposite.
Coda's tough.
Code is definitely tough.
Did you ever?
Yeah.
you did. Yeah,
I've done 2 spotter stands there, and I didn't like either one of them.
You got eaten up there, didn't you?
I got bit from every, yep.
Yeah.
Is that where there was a rattlesnake or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
there was a rattlesnake there too. That's probably maybe that's the top of the list. I don't know.
Well, they're coming up that hill at you on those restarts, and you're like, good luck.
Yeah.
Middle of 18.
Yeah, 6 wide, you're third from the bottom. Now you're wrecked.
It's a little bit better now than to move the restart zone, so
Yeah.
it's definitely better.
All right. Well, on a similar note, Tyler asks if any of you have chucked something off the roof or at another spotter out of frustration, which I feel like there could be a few examples
I
here.
think Brett chucked a fist at one spotter one time.
Oh, well, that guy was an idiot.
Which one?
I almost got in
not.
trouble for that.
He's not there anymore, but
I tell you what happened to me at Homestead is I had my keys on my finger, and I sat my drink down, and my keys slipped off, and they slid down that roof, and it literally sounded like a jet was taking off.
So Homestead is
Off they went to the
Yeah.
stands, and I'm like, damn it. Nobody was there. It was like the opening day of practice on Thursday or something. But I had to go down and find my keys.
We had Bristol, we had one of the spotters lose his timer. We used to have timers out, for practice when we used to practice for
Stopwatches.
No, this
No,
was
it's like a
timer.
kitchen
Oh, the
timer.
timer for
Counting down,
yeah. I got
Yeah.
it.
And the funny thing was the guy made it himself. He's a very talented fabricator, and he made it himself, and it had his logo on it. So it goes down to the grandstands and hits somebody. So we get in a little bit of trouble about, hey, guys, do not, let fall off the roof. This is obviously very dangerous. So we're like, yeah, we apologize. The guy couldn't deny it because his logo was on there.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up the sandwich.
We go, well, that sandwich, we only tried to kill the track president that day. The next week, or like 2 weeks later, we're at Pocono, and thank God, one of the spotters, Fan Visions, which you know how big they are.
Oh, that's heavy.
And we're they're right
I remember
below
that.
us.
I remember that.
And it goes right below us, and thank God I looked down. We all saw, and when it happens, everybody knows it. Like we all see it go down there, and we just look at each other, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna be in a lot of this. And luckily, I look down. Shout out to Anthony Bozzella, who was a young up and coming spotter at the time. He spots some modified stuff now. Hit him in the head, Thank God it hit him, because anybody else probably would have sued us to death, and the guy would have got in trouble. We would have been probably thrown off the roof forever. But thank God Anthony didn't say anything. But that was a dangerous day.
Oh, this next one is from Chris. Are you guys at all surprised that Colleague would take Dylan instead of Corey, with Corey already being a Chevy driver?
Corey
LaJoy.
There's some other factors in play there. I think you get a pretty good deal on your engines with Ty Dillon in your car. I would assume.
Why?
I would assume that with their alliance with RCR, so I'm sure that played a big factor. And the engine deal is, it's millions of dollars a year, right, to lease engines. So
Yeah, I'd say $4 million
so if you're getting
per car.
so if you got a guy if Corey LaJoy has $2 million in sponsorship and you can get a $4 million discount on engines.
I think the big win for Colleague there, too, is obviously RCR has an invested interest in Ty Dillon.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they want him to run well. So the alliance probably just got a lot stronger for Colleague Racing, which I know they want to happen. And I know they're making a lot of investments into being faster next year. So I think it's a win-win, honestly. Like I get, why you would say, pick Corey LaJoy over Ty Dillon, but I think the big picture is Ty Dillon.
Yeah, and to your point, Ty was driving that 25 truck all year. They were RCR was heavily invested in getting that truck better, and they did throughout the year. To the point where one time we go out for a practice and Stockman is on the radio making adjustments. So they were obviously were and still are very heavily invested in Ty.
Next one is from Dustin. How worried should Reddick be after finishing 25th?
He better be worried. This is 2 wild card races, and I know he's going to be fast at the Roval, but so will a lot of other people.
Yeah, and this, we talked about earlier, with the numbers game, we have to come up with a different strategy to get stage points at this next week. The Fords are going to be up there. They just always are. That's the way it goes. The Chevys have shown that they can cycle to the lead on pit cycles and kind of get to the front and stay there on these stages. So we have to have a better plan than them coming in, and it's hard to do when you have 6 cars versus 15. They don't have to execute their pit stops perfectly. They can leave pit road with half of their group and still haul ass. Where if we lose 1 or 2 cars off our group with a speeding penalty or some guy they have a bad pit stop, now we're at a deficit. So it's hard to get stage points. So Tyler's definitely got to be on high alert now. He couldn't, a lot like Larson. When you have a gap, you can't afford to have a bad race, especially at a place where you're expected to be good, and they both unfortunately did yesterday.
Also want to note, TJ, you are here, right? Your Tesla didn't break. Somebody was asking if you're here. You're just a little quiet.
That was a one-time thing.
You
I'm not leaving for vacation.
TJ's in a bad mood today.
Listen,
so.
if that thing didn't start, I wouldn't be here right now. I would not. I would probably be torching my legs right now to try to get these bug bites off because they're annoying.
They are.
Oh. From Melissa, from a few weeks back, how did Brett know so much about Viagra? I'm not sure I want to know the answer to this one, but I guess we'll ask it.
Do you know a lot about Viagra?
I think we were joking around about the milligrams or something.
I don't remember.
I know they're blue.
I remember I texted you about it.
I know they're blue diamond looking things. I missed the Viagra car. That was a hard one to pass.
So next question. What is that?
Anyways, This next one is from Tanner. If you could build an all-time dream team, who would be your driver, crew, team, and manufacturer?
Well, I mean, is this going to be a 20-minute discussion right here?
Let's just pick driver, crew, chief.
Y'all want to just pick one? You know, we'll each take a category.
Done. TJ, you first.
It's pretty easy, I think.
I think pit crew, or which one you want me to do?
You can't pick Kyle Larson.
You can't pick him?
What?
No.
You want to do the driver?
So he's off limits?
Yeah.
Why is he off limits?
Why?
Because he's the
Why?
best driver.
So
I
you think
you know who
that?
I'd take? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson.
Done.
They weren't that good.
No.
They only won 7 championships and 80 races.
I didn't think that was that difficult of a question.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's hard to argue 7-time.
And dominant. Like,
Jeff Gordon Ray Abraham was pretty damn good, too.
Weird, TJ, that
Pretty
you're not
good.
picking Dale.
not.
Well, they didn't stay together.
Yeah.
Had my fill.
That's true.
Not Dale.
I mean,
Had they stayed together?
Interesting.
Who knows?
So no other duos?
It's hard to mix and match. Like, I think Gabe Hart and Denny are a great duo. I don't know, Gabe Hart and Larson, does that make a difference? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to quantify which.
I think Kyle Larson could win with you as his crew chief.
Oh, that's probably
What?
not true. He could definitely win with me as a spotter. Like, he doesn't need me or anybody else to spot for him. Probably, guy runs half his life without a spotter or a mirror or anything. So, I could probably just get up there with a lounge chair and have at it, buddy.
All right. Miss Circle 5638. What tech do spotters use that most people don't know about? This is probably a TJ with his million.
I mean, we all use the same stuff. So, and I mean, if you look at setups on the roof, there's nobody that has more stuff than probably Drew Herring.
Drew Herring, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
What does he have that's different?
Nothing.
He has 2 backpacks.
He has. I don't even know.
I think he changed it up. Nick Payne has the biggest spotter bag I've ever seen in my life.
It's not a bag. It's
Probably
a case.
It's a
snacks in
case.
there.
Yeah.
There's no snacks. I don't
Yeah.
even know what.
I saw Nick without a hat on the other week. I didn't even recognize him.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
People probably say that about you too.
So basically,
No, I always have that on.
TJ's cool suit is pretty much the only tech that's different.
Tech.
I mean,
I don't
consider that tech.
I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't use. Do you? I mean, you use a tablet. TJ's tablet.
Yeah.
He had a problem the other day with it, but
Oh, my
I don't. I'm trying to spot. Like, I'm trying to, literally, I think it was Pocono a couple weeks ago. I don't like to look down at when Bubba's on the racetrack. I do not want to be watching him or watching what's going on around him. And Pocono, like 3 weeks ago, we fire off a practice, and Fido had SMT open next to me, so I just looked down at it. And I'm watching to go into one to see like what lift. You can't see in turn one anyway, so I'm like looking to see like. All right, like let me see how Bubba drives into one compared to Tyler. And as I'm looking at that, Tyler spins out right in front of us, and I look up and there's small. I'm like, oh, check up. And Bubba's like a little late there. I'm like, yeah, no, I wasn't even looking. But like, I don't know. I get it. It's very valuable information that you have down there. But I have the same information on my phone that I can go to if I need it. As far as timing and
Well,
scoring.
I mean, I use the tablet because it's easier to see.
Yeah.
And your phone, a lot of times there's overheat, like it overheats and your screen dims and you can't see it. Like, I don't know, like in the tablet I have is an outdoor just rugged thing, and I just use it for timing and scoring. And I've got it laid out exactly what I need to see, and I don't do anything other than lap times and running order, really. That's all you use it for. Lap count, sometimes how many to go in the stage, how many to go in the race.
Yeah, I just like
Things like that.
I know people have SMT open live. I couldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't see a benefit. That's not, to me, I don't see a benefit of that during the race.
I got a button on my radio that can connect me to a war room. Basically, I don't talk to the war room, but I talk to the pit box, and the pit box talk to the war room, and they got just about every piece of information I could ever need. So if I have a question, I'm sure I can ask them.
During the race, I don't think that's our job to diagnose what the car, where it's missing speed at. That's not really our job at that point, I don't believe.
Next one is from one of our biggest fans, Master of Lights 24.
Hey, he's been missing the show live. He's probably excited he made it this time.
Agreed. Do you guys think Kyle Busch's 19-year winning streak comes to an end this season?
TJ, is it a big deal?
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it is to Kyle, but would I be surprised if Kyle won? I would absolutely not be surprised if Kyle won. Would I be surprised if he doesn't win? I probably also would not be surprised if he doesn't win either. But Kyle's the type of guy, he's one of them guys that he can wreck 6 races in a row, and then he's going to win the next 3. And he's just one of them guys that has that ability. And he's been fast this year, so there's no reason why he couldn't win 2 or 3 races coming up. There's also, looking at his year, there's also the possibility that he doesn't finish any of them either. But, I mean, Kyle's won he's won pretty much everything there is to win. And, I mean, there's a couple races that he hasn't won, obviously, that he wants to, but, man, his stats, are ridiculous. So, Kyle, I know he's not happy winning, but he's still accomplished, I mean, more than most probably ever. I mean, how many wins has he got total?
I'm going to guess 65.
Yeah, I would say so.
But
That's
have no idea.
ridiculous.
Somewhere around 60.
I don't know how many.
I mean, that's ridiculous. So for Cup wins,
They've gotten fast. I mean, they've been in contention
for sure
for a bunch the last month or two. You know, he'll be in contention this week. They've been fast at the speedway races. So I don't see him. I mean, he'll be in contention maybe at the Roval, but I don't see that being a place where he's
63.
63. You
Yeah.
were way off. Where else
just
do we
Cup.
go? You know, Homestead. If he was as fast as he was yesterday, he's going to be fast on Homestead, I think.
for sure.
You know, there's places he can definitely contend. And honestly, being a fan of the sport and somebody that's, you want to see him win. You want to see that streak continue, but hopefully we can beat him.
David Foster asks, thoughts on Kyle Petty comparing Seabell to Casey Kane and Kyle Larson as drivers who can't finish races?
Ouch.
That was a tough question.
So
Here's the good news about Kyle Petty. He tells you exactly what he thinks, and he's entitled to whatever he thinks. And if you disagree with him, that doesn't mean he's wrong. It just means you disagree with him. So I get tired of hearing the same every time I turn on a race. Give me a guy like Kyle Petty that's going to challenge me or say something like that, whether you agree with him or not. I mean, Casey Kane, man, I remember him finishing second, I believe, 5 times as a rookie in like 2003, 2004, when he rolled up on the scene in the number 9 Dodge car. And I remember a very prevalent car owner at the time said, you'll never make it because you like to run the top more than you like to run the bottom. And I think he did all right.
he did okay.
But, I mean, Casey Kane had a tremendous career in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he win, 18 races?
I forget.
How many races did he win? 18?
You just had to list that. What did you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Can
you guess?
I had the Kyle Busch list up.
I would say yeah. Well, that was the thing. I forget when the comment was made. I don't know if it was in replying to Kyle, but remember Casey took that picture.
He has 18 Cup wins.
I mean,
You said 18.
get you some.
But you remember he took that picture in his trophy room, like there was a trophy out. He's like trying to figure out where to put it, and it was all Cup wins. And he's like, it was because somebody was critical of, he was popular but not fast or something like that. Whatever. I can't remember who said it. And he's like, well, this, where do I put this or something like that? But yeah,
There are certain drivers that helped our sport get more popular, and Casey Kane was one of them. When he rolled up, he was like New Kids on the Block, made it to NASCAR. Like, he brought all the teenage fans with him, and he was tremendous for it. But
and the fact that he was so cute definitely helped.
I mean, yeah.
Say
Sorry.
that? I don't know.
I can
So like for me, Casey Kane had a great career. I mean,
Yeah.
Christopher Bell, he's one of the best talents out there right now.
Yes. And what you say on here all the time is, sometimes guys run out of talent. And the reason why when we're saying that, we're not saying they like their talent disappears. They overstep and that's because guys like Christopher, guys like Kyle are the ones you see it happen to the most, is because they trust their talent so much that they are on the edge at all times. Christopher's leading the race yesterday and gets, snaps free and he hits the fence. We've seen him numerous times, spin out. But that's only because he is driving every lap on the edge of that. Like a lot of guys aren't willing to go there. So, they're never going to run out of talent because they're never pushing their talents as far as these guys are. So, Christopher's extremely fast. He's going to be fast. If he gets into the Final Four, he's probably going to be the favorite. Like, he is an unbelievable race car driver, and if he can just maybe go down to 90% sometimes and get to the end of these races clean, that's where you're really going to see him shine.
Next one is from CEO. My brother is going to Talladega for the first time. What places and events are a must-do? Boulevard, hands down.
Oh yeah, the Boulevard. I don't know. Do they do the big one at this where they do the drivers?
Yeah,
the parade through the
and then the
Boulevard?
concert usually.
Yeah, so go to the concerts. There's really not a lot around the racetrack to do.
No.
So I would just, if you're camping, stay at the racetrack. Stay there as long as you can. If you're not camping,
The dirt track.
Have a driver home. The
Ooh,
dirt
the
track's
dirt
across
track's
the
another one.
street.
It's right across
Yeah.
the street.
If you want to be covered in red clay for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, there's really not much to do unless you're staying in like Oxford, Anniston area. That's where most of the teams stay. Some guys stay in Leeds. There's a bunch of places, but yeah, most of the fun's had at the racetrack all weekend.
Agreed. Do you see a non-playoff driver winning the championship round again this year? And this one's from Turn 4 Podcast.
I assume it just means winning a race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Ross
easily.
did it, obviously.
Yeah,
The top three at one point yesterday were all non-playoff.
even more than that. The only guy that I noticed,
William was up there.
I saw at one point, the 48 was the only guy that was the highest finishing guy that was in the playoffs. Still.
Yeah. It's odd
So,
for that
running
to
game.
happen, and listen, Talladega is certainly a place where a non-playoff guy can win. After that, I think it's all playoff guys.
So the Roval, I mean, last year AJ won, and it's because guys at the Roval being a cutoff race, guys are chasing points.
Yeah.
So the guys that are there for wins, which who's running the Roval, AJ, or I assume it's AJ, right?
I would not be surprised if they both run it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know I've seen a list, and I don't think SVG's running, but I'm pretty sure AJ is.
Okay.
But AJ is he's only there to win the race. So he's going to be doing with flipping stages, getting track position, while other guys there's going to be guys that have to chase points. They have to pit. They have to run the stage out. So that's you can see an upset win there. Probably just AJ's about the only one, or there's going to be guys that are just Hail Mary for the win there. But yeah, and this week obviously is wide open to anybody.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Next one is from Michael Erickson. Do spotters have their own spots at tracks like you can't stand there? That's TJ's spot. I'm assuming yes, TJ.
I've seen Brett rip somebody's tape.
Oh, my
a
gosh,
couple
yeah.
times.
I've
I
never
mean,
done such.
We are I'm 20 years into going to these tracks, so you just go to the same spot you've been going to, and the reason why some tracks doesn't matter, but the reason why you go to your same place is because you spotted so many races from there that you're really comfortable with the angles. You can call things quicker because you're more comfortable with it because you've seen it happen so many times, so you can be more aggressive with your calls because you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's important. It is important. And, it's sometimes there are places where it doesn't really matter. It's kind of the same thing. But, you just kind of I don't know. You just go to the same place you've been going
It's like seniority. It's,
Yeah.
Sometimes Talladega recently built a new spotter stand, which needs to be about 10 people bigger. But
Yeah.
they, when you did that, then basically all the team guys got together. Like all the Toyotas kind of stand together, all the Fords. But what happens is then if somebody switches out of the Toyota camp or whatever, it gets a little clumsy. But
Yeah.
You ever want to see TJ get stressed out? Just go to a new track where there's no hierarchy.
or somebody
And,
fit
and
in
guys-
his
bathroom.
spot.
like guy
Or bathroom.
yeah. But then you have guys. Some guys drive motorhomes, so that guy's at the track on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and he could tape off a spot for all of his buddies, and then we get there Friday and everything's gone already. But it's pretty much just seniority, and we tell the new guys, you stand back here when everybody gets here. You find a spot, you get there, then that's your spot.
Well, usually there's a guy. If there's a new guy,
somebody's gone.
somebody's out.
Yeah.
So you kind of go where they were, and
Poor
that's kinda how
TJ
it-
Bell. The funny thing, TJ Bell took that approach. He said, I'm going to stand wherever Brett was the whole time. Brett's first year he quit. And so he did that. And then Brett decided to come back the next year, and poor TJ Bell got his tape ripped up everywhere he went. He's like, you're out. I said, I don't know. I think you might forfeit your spot. But Brett didn't
Think
believe
you
it or
forfeit
not.
your spot, Brett.
That works.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining Ask DBC Live post Kansas.
We didn't curse. Or,
I mean,
not
yet.
even once.
maybe Brett did one.
Yet. Stay tuned. The full podcast drops later today.
All right, we are clear.
Is what I mean.